Hey guys, it's been a little while since my last video. There's been two main reasons for this. One, when I have been playing Magic, I've been playing Pioneer. And two, I've been playing Guilty Gear Strive. I am not very good. I am hard stuck floor 8-9. If anybody actually plays Guilty Gear Strive and wants to give me some tips and play some games, hit me up. But ignoring me wasting my time playing fighting games, I have also been now back playing a bit of Legacy. And the reason I've been back playing Legacy is because Initiative has really shaken up the format. The last video I believe I uploaded was around the no LED list, and I've been experimenting a little bit with Grief before that, but I think Initiative Meta's kind of solidified it a little bit. I'm not going to say whether anything will get banned out of Initiative either. I think there's been something overdue to be banned from Delver for a while. Maybe the Initiative is so impossible to ignore, they'll have to ban something, and then when they ban something they'll have to do something about Delver at the same time, because refusing to do anything about like actually releasing a ban list update and then not doing anything about Delver seems like just the worst possible thing they could do at this point. So yes, let's talk about this list. Let's not waste any more time. There is Grief. To Grief. Grief is a card which I think is very well positioned right now. If I show you here, this was now a year and a half ago, a little bit after Modern Horizons 2 released. I did a lot of testing with Grief, and this was one of the lists that I was testing with that I was quite happy with at the time. In the end, I did a lot more testing, and I came to the conclusion that Grief wasn't worth it. I think the reason that I did that was at the time Ragavan was legal. And the problem with Grief against Ragavan is if your opponent goes turn 1 Ragavan and you have a Grief in hand, it doesn't matter. You're -2ing yourself to take something out of your opponent's hand when they have a Ragavan in play will straight up just lose you the game. So I decided to shelf the idea on Grief, but it came back recently, partly because of my testing with the no bridge list. That is a previous video on my channel, go check it out, super interesting. No Cabal Therapy, no bridge from below. Super cool list, super fun list, uses Creeping Chill, plays a bit like Modern, but way faster. But instead, I came back on the Grief from playing that chill list, and also from seeing the no LED list using it to great effect. I actually think it's well positioned right now. There are lots of decks where taking that one key card out of their hand is really useful. There's a lot of like incidental grave hate right now. There's a lot of cards that are just really awkward to beat. Turn 1 interaction is probably at the best it's pretty much ever been in Legacy. Like there's been a lot of time periods where not doing anything turn 1 doesn't matter. We are definitely not in that time period. We are on every single turn matters, every single card you play matters, and that extra bit of speed is appreciated. Why did I settle on 2? There aren't that many slots you can play with. You could cut the Lotus Petal. I've talked about this before. I'm a big believer in Dredge needs more mana sources. I think often there are two ways that you lose games. One is not having any. Well, there are two ways that you lose games. You don't find a Dredger, or you don't find any mana. Lotus Petal is nice in the sense that it's not just a mana source, it's also a way to speed up the deck slightly, and it's also very good against days. I'm a big believer in the Lotus Petal, but I could see why you could cut that for the third Grief if you wanted to. Everything else is pretty stock, except for we've gone down 1 Icarid and moved the Oxyvagonus to the main. The best 2 decks are Initiative and Delver. Oxyvagonus is very good in both of those matchups, so Ox has been shifted to the main deck. In the sideboard, we have 3 Leyline of Sanctity, pretty standard. 2 Leyline of the Void, 1 Fairy Macabre. You could play 3 Leyline of the Voids. I just kind of like to mix it up, keep the reanimator players guessing. Then we've got 6 Leyline answers. This is probably the most questionable thing. I was looking at my matches, like my spreadsheet, and the matches where I was losing, I was just getting leylined. I was getting leylined like 3 or 4 times in a league by different players. Like there'd be 4 players just playing a leyline deck, just like random stuff, like not even really tier decks. People are just playing junk in leagues. Leyline is everywhere. Initiative is playing leyline. When the best deck in the format is playing leyline, you need to respect it. So I went up to 6 leyline answers, and I've been really appreciating that. The split is kind of random. Wispmare, I think, is the best leyline answer possible. Why Wispmare? It can destroy a leyline of the void through a chalice on 1. This is very important against initiative. It can also answer leyline of the void through Thalia for 1 mana. Again, another really good reason to be playing Wispmare. It could be a 4th Wispmare, honestly. If I was to make a change, it would probably be putting the 4th Wispmare in. But I kind of like having a little mix of different ones. They are good at different things. Nature's Claim, obviously, a nice catch-all card to sideboard in certain cases, like Wispmare. Kind of sucks to sideboard blind, bring in Wispmares, and then get hit by a cage by someone playing like something stupid like Goblins. Stern Dismissal is a good card to catch everything as well. Well, not to catch everything, but it's good against specifically Elves and Leyline Saga decks, because you can bounce Saga and you can also bounce turn 1 Dryad Arbor. Good card in both those matchups. However, obviously lacks the versatility of Chain of Vapor. Chain of Vapor bounces everything except lands, and is the worst leyline answer in any sort of mirror situation or against Hogak, because they can use it to bounce your leyline. So I'm not a huge fan of the card for those 2 reasons, but I think it's fine to have as a one-of. It could be the 4th Wispmare. But the good thing about it and Stern Dismissal is it costs blue mana and can be cast off Cephalid Coliseum. Then we've got 1 Firestorm. Firestorm, good against Elves, also okay against Initiative. It is better if they don't have Leyline. If they do have Leyline, sometimes I don't even sideboard it in. Even against Initiative, it's okay. It's not going to win you the game, really. Like, you can't really kill Seasoned Dungeoneer with it, and it uses up a lot of cards in your hand. It's very difficult, and you don't kind of want to overextend into a Fairy Macabre in those sort of situations. You'd rather like discard 1 Dredger, like bait out the Fairy Macabre, keep the 2nd Dredger in hand, rather than like pitching both your Dredgers to try and get a big Firestorm. However, it can answer Containment Priest, and it can also answer Thalia quite nicely. It's also, as I said, very good against Elves, very good against Painter, and also good against Delver. I don't think it's amazing against Delver, but it gets the job done against Delver. It is a fine card in the matchup, and it kind of sorts out a little bit of the weird sideboard mapping problems, because we are running the Oxyvagonus in the main deck. We don't really ever want 3 breakthroughs post board against Delver, so we can sideboard out the breakthrough and sideboard in the Firestorm. You could also sideboard out a Grief if you wanted to keep the 3rd breakthrough. I really dislike having 3 breakthroughs post board against Delver, just because drawing 2 breakthroughs in your hand is really painful. So I like to prevent that. And also the Dread Return and the Ashen Rider. That is the deck. I ran through that really quick, and even though I tried to run through that really quick, that still took like 9 minutes. I am really slow at talking, but hopefully that is that. Yeah, let's run this through a league. I've been enjoying this list. I've been thinking it's good. I'm sure I'm going to hit some terrible matchups and lose, because I don't think this deck is super well positioned right now. But let's go. Let's see how it goes. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Round 1, we are against Jackie 90. His hands good against Delver. It's not great against Delver. It's okay. It's probably bad against Initiative. It's like close. Given we have Ox, having 2 lands is kind of at a premium. And it's quite resilient to counter magic, and it's kind of hard to punish. This is close to a mull. In the blind, I have like no idea what they're playing. I think I will keep this. I really don't really often like therapying myself turn 1. Like, there's lots of ways this hand can go wrong, right? Like, if we brick on dredges on the Stinkweed Imp, it kind of sucks because then we don't get to Cabal Therapy our opponent. They could just have like a Soul Guide Lantern. Like, if they're playing a Saga deck, we could just lose our Stinkweed Imp and lose the game that way. We could get Endurance because they can see our hand. They could be on Initiative and punish us. There's lots of ways that can go wrong. But in the blind, I am inclined to keep. Just barely, though. This is very borderline. It's kind of a greedy hand, but it looks like they're on a blue deck of some kind, unless this is Reanimator, in which case we're probably dead. We just want to hit a dredge. Oh, nice. That is nice. I am going to actually sort of take the crazy stab in the dark that this is I could also name Dark Ritual here. I'm like, what are the decks that I care about that play Polluted Delta, right? This could either be Reanimator and they could be like holding Entomb, or this could be like Doomsday, or this could just be Blue-Red Delver and they're just holding up the fetch. I am going to name Entomb because that's kind of what I'm most afraid of. Oh, the worst part is that we're still dead. Oh my god, I had such an incredible read. I had literally the best read ever, and we're still going to get unmask into flipping Reanimate Sarah's Emissary. That sucks. I can't believe this. What about if I crack the Lion's Eye Diamond? Because we're literally dead, right? What you have to understand is they can unmask, pitch either Gristlebrand or Reanimate, discard their Serra Emissary, and then exhume it next turn. There's nothing we can do to stop that unless we somehow take that out of their hand. If I pitch this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is so rough, but we're like actually kind of forced to do this. Like, the only other option is to just hope my opponent's bad and reanimates the Gristlebrand instead of the Sarah's Emissary. Okay. Alright, this is really good. This is actually really good. This is actually really good for us. This is awesome. This is really good. Because now we can take the unmask, watch them like top deck a second unmask, or watch them top deck a or watch them top deck a Entomb or something and just kill us anyway. Though if they top decked Entomb, that wouldn't be awful because they would only be able to draw 7. Nice, we hit the last Cabal Therapy. That's really good. So I guess in this situation it's best to take the Reanimate because that turns them off of top deck looting. Wow, that's crazy. Can't believe that turn 1 polluted Delta Pass, guessing that they're on flipping reanimator, actually worked. That's so funny. What? Can't see my flipping sideboard. Give me those. Give me those. So for those that don't know, you want to sideboard out every card that they might want to reanimate. Ox Vagonus, very bad card to have post board. They can use it to dig, and it's also just a kind of big clock. Like, it's not like a crazy clock, but it's like a big enough clock. Like if they're in a situation where they have a reanimate spell and they have a creature but they've got no way to discard, they just reanimate your Ox. They discard their hand, and then draw 3 cards. You really don't want it post board. Side out Putrid Imp. And then Grief is obviously good. Grief can kind of suck if they reanimate your Grief, but you want as much interaction as possible. Obviously, bringing in the graveyard is self-explanatory. And then one thing I sometimes like to do is I sometimes like to do this. Alternatively, this. It doesn't really matter which. Both is fine. I prefer Stern Dismissal just because it can bounce things and then they can't bounce our leyline with it. What does it do? Putrid Imp's kind of bad for the same reason I said. They can reanimate it and use it as a discard outlet. Also, it's kind of a slow card. Stern Dismissal can bounce Serenity. It can also bounce Dothy Voidwalker, which some people are playing. I don't know why they're playing Reanimator with Dothy Voidwalker in the sideboard, but I hate it. It's the worst. And it can also bounce a Serra's Emissary. You can also do a trick with Animate Dead when it's on the stack. If you bounce an Animate Dead with the trigger on the stack, they won't get the creature. Given that we're on the play, though, I actually will keep the Putrid Imp. Why? Because it's a black card to pitch for Grief, and also it's a turn 1. You can use it to enable your breakthroughs. It's got turn 1 interaction. It's got a looting. However, this seems a little bit greedy to keep. Maybe it's fine. If this looting misses, we are so boned. I'm gonna mull. This is not good either. I mean, we draw any land, we're good, and this has like 2 pieces of graveyard hate. I don't really like it, but I'll keep it. Oh wait, we're on the draw. We won game 1. I completely forgot. Wow. Okay. I forgot we were on the draw. I should have had the Stern Dismissal in. Oh well. I talked about the reasons why I have it on the play versus the draw. F6 in here is fine, so I don't think I have a Macabre. Seemingly they don't have Voidwalker, or I think they'd have just slammed it turn 1. Potentially going to 7 and discarding Grave Troll. There is a bug on Magic Online where your opponent can reanimate... Oh, that sucks. Your opponent can reanimate Grave Troll with 0 cards, with 0 cards in 0 creature cards in their graveyard from your graveyard, and it will come into play as a 1/1. This is not true. If you reanimate from an opponent's graveyard, it should come in as a 0/0, and you should let's get rid of that and get rid of that. Yoinked. A land, please. No? Okay. Yeah, if they have no cards in graveyard, they reanimate a Grave Troll from your graveyard, it should just die. And then if you've got any bridges in your graveyard, that should give you Bridge from Below triggers. Because Bridge from Below has a weird wording on it where it says about creatures going to your graveyard, not about creatures dying. Fun fact. So if an opponent reanimates your creature and you have a Bridge from Below in graveyard, they don't exile your bridges if the creature that you own dies. This is very important when playing in paper to be aware of that interaction. Do I discard 2 Grave Trolls, or do I discard a Grave Troll and an Icarid? That is the question. I think I discard a Grave Troll and Icarid. Maybe that's a bit greedy. Discard, pitch that. Their last card could be Macabre, and I could get boned. But yeah, there we go. That is fine. Any enabler off the top is good. Kind of sucks our Icarid got exiled, but it would have been both our Grave Trolls getting exiled otherwise. So your opponent's in kind of a hard spot at the moment. They need to find both a way to get a creature in the graveyard and something to reanimate, though they are nearing being able to hardcast creatures, which is kind of scary. Okay. We're not guaranteed to draw a land. I think the kind of like overall, yeah, I mean, look, we would have been sat there. Yes, we'd have drawn a Lion's Eye Diamond after like 4 turns, but we'd have missed out on 4 turns of dredging. So it's often better in situations like that to just play Breakthrough X's 0 as just a way to pitch your hand. Yes, that can kind of suck in the sense that if you were like going to top deck something, but it does also protect from the grief that would have just took our breakthrough, and then we'd have probably lost the game. Instead, now we actually have a chance of winning the game. I could Grave Troll. I could target myself with the Cabal Therapy. Take Grave Troll. I'd actually inclined to save the therapy, because what it allows me to do is it allows me to... I'm not going to exile the Grief because it can be a decent card to reanimate. Maybe I should have exiled the Fairy Macabre. I'll do it next turn. Swing with both of these. If he trades, I'm fine with it. Sure. Maybe I should have sacrificed the Narcomoeba because I do want to target them. Like if that last card is like Animate Dead or something. I want it gone. It's Entomb. Wow. Okay, what a gamer. That's a really good rip off the top. I was worried it might be Entomb. We probably lose. I don't think we can kill them fast enough. Maybe if I had sacrificed the Narcomoeba to Cabal Therapy before combat, because we'd have been hitting for 7 next turn. It's close. They went for Gristlebrand, not Sarah's Emissary, which is definitely a mistake. I'm not going to target myself. Really? Wow. Okay, there we go. That's Reanimator for you. That is Reanimator. What a deck. Yeah, and then they can play Sarah's Emissary. Yep. Not much to say here. Opponent's just going through the motions. Reanimator is really strong right now. That's part of the reason why I'm running 2 Leylines and a Macabre. if you weren't playing the... I actually think, so I didn't mention this in the intro, but I actually think the flex slot in the sideboard right now is the third ley line of Sanctity. Endurance is at the lowest point ever since Modern Horizon 2 release. The Endurance has never been this low meta percentage, and if I was cutting it, I think the card I would add is either a second Firestorm or a third Leyline of the Void. I really think Reanimator's good right now. I think it's okay against Delver, and I think it's probably good against Initiative. And because of that, you got to respect it right now. You got to respect it right now. There's basically 3 decks in the metagame. There's basically Initiative, Delver, and Reanimator. I guess there's Painter as well. But those are the 3 main ones. Yeah, I took a draw in case we drew Sarah's Stone Dismissal. Oh wait, you can't draw Stone Dismissal, there's none in the deck. Yeah, that's fine, whatever. Next game. Card. Hand slaps. Hand is an absolute slapper. Hand is amazing. I'm going to lead on looting, even though we have Lion's Eye Diamond. I am looking for... I'm actually going to discard a Lion's Eye Diamond here. Crazy to say, because we have another one. Yes, playing out the Lion's Eye Diamond here potentially gets it hit by Serenity. That is a real concern. However, I don't want it to get discarded. Then maybe they wouldn't discard it because I got a Macabre, but I don't know what their hand is. They showed where to, often they will run one or the other, not both. How does this work? If I do that, 1, 2, 3. No, I am not going to. In case they have Fairy Macabre, because if I discard everything here, like if I crack Lion's Eye Diamond, I'll have 6 in graveyard. If I crack blue, I won't be able to protect myself from Macabre. So I'm just going to do this and discard these 2 and pass turn. Like if I get Macabre now, I don't mind. This could be a mistake, but it doesn't feel like a mistake, so... Narcomoeba trigger? Weird pauses. I'm going to crack this for blue. Or do I want to crack this for blue? If I crack it for red, I can't Cephalid Coliseum twice, and then I lose to Macabre, so no, I'm going to crack it for blue. This loses to double Fairy Macabre, but... There's Fairy Macabre. Do you got a second one? Do you have a second Fairy Macabre? I feel like if they had a second Fairy Macabre, they'd have used it after the... they'd have used it in the upkeep on the single Icarid. I don't think they'd have... held it in that situation. So I was fairly confident that we weren't going to get punished for that. Obviously right now we can't dredge into anything except more bridges and more therapies, but this should be able to close out the game unless they've got where into Entomb. Yeah, Obviously, we got lucky. We drew both a Leyline and a Fero Macabre there. Yeah, that was pretty good. Good game one. Right, round 2. We're against Ricker 1909. No idea what they're playing. This hand would be amazing if it had a gold land instead of one of these dredges. Instead, it is medium. Oh, they reveal Yorion. Okay, well that narrows it down. They're either playing some 4-colour pile or they're playing Death and Taxes. I don't think Death and Taxes is especially good right now, but maybe it can hold its own against. These are one of the few hands. Hands like this are one of the few hands where I actually keep when the turn 1 play is Cabal Therapy yourself. Because 1, the dredger we have is Grave Troll, which is the best dredger. And the odds, the math, some math, like if you dredge a Golgari Thug, your chance of hitting another dredger off of those 4 cards is like less than half, but if you get a Grave Troll, it's like more than half. Or something like that. Like the odds, with the difference between 4 and 6 is quite a lot. And also this has loads of enablers. This has like 4 enablers it can cast. It's good against Wasteland. It's good against counter spells. And it's pretty much like, it would be nicer if it had like a looting or something, but it's like fine. Whoops, almost named the wrong card there. I have done that far too many times. I've tried to name Golgari Thug and I haven't typed in Golgari Grave Troll, and then I have had to tell the opponent that I'm drunk in chat when actually I'm completely sober. I'm just very, very silly. Yeah, so, I mean, Death and Taxes has, like, no counterplay to this. There is, like, nothing Death and Taxes can do. If they're 4 colour, there is lots they can do. They could Endurance us. They could Counterspell us next turn. But no, it is, in fact, Death and Taxes. So let's see what we dredge. Okay, we don't hit another dredger, which kind of sucks. But what we can do is we can Narcomoeba target ourselves, take the Grave Troll. I think this is the correct play. The way this could be bad is we could get blown out by like a Solitude. But also I don't want to get blown out by like Thalia. Thalia next turn really sucks. And we can like kind of play around Solitude by stopping dredging if we want to. No. Okay. Did we really not hit? Okay. I mean, I guess the odds of that aren't atrocious, given we hit 1 Narcomoeba and we bottomed another Narcomoeba. We've hit 3 Icarids here, so I might actually skip a draw step next turn, because what I don't want to happen is to lose our last Bridge from Below. That would really suck. However, if we get Thalia'd here, we might not have a choice. Actually, no, if they Thalia us, we probably... I don't know, we'll see what happens. That card does nothing against me. Another good thing, I think most people are aware of this, especially people watching this channel, but yes, you can dredge through Spirit of the Labyrinth. If you draw for your turn, you can't dredge. So if you draw, and then you draw a dredger, for example, imagine you have a Putrid in play, you draw a dredger for turn. If you discard that dredger and then try and cast a looting, under Spirit of the Labyrinth you won't be able to, but obviously really good draw. Obviously if you've taken a dredge, as long as you've never actually drawn a card, you can just keep dredging through Spirit of the Labyrinth. Oh, wait, I've just done that to myself. Whatever. I wasn't even thinking. That's funny. I'm going to name Solitude. It's the card I'm most afraid of. Stoneforge Mystic, absolutely fine. I think I'm actually not going to do anything. I'm going to just hold up Cephalid Coliseum because, as I said, I'm going to get a bunch of zombie tokens, which is most important. There's no reason to swing here because the opponent can just block and tap with Mother of Runes, but if they want to, they can exile our bridges. We don't want to give them the choice, so we just make the play that is kind of guaranteed, which is just go to the end step. Well, I don't want to F6 here in case they wasteland my Cephalid Coliseum. Yeah, I think it was correct there. Yes, we couldn't do anything under the Spirit of the Labyrinth, but this kind of guaranteed that we wouldn't get blown out by a Solitude. The main way that you lose now to Death and Taxes game 1, they can Lion Sash you. That can be a real thing. But if they don't Lion Sash you, the way that you lose is they exile all your bridges with a top deck Solitude. Okay. I'm not afraid of Stoneforge Mystic. In fact, I don't want to F6, F2 here because they can. It will just pass the turn, and I want a Cephalid Coliseum ended turn here. Jite. What? Almost passed through the turn. I always wanted to do this end step. Grief. Putrid Imp. Golgari Thug. I'm actually not gonna. Oh, I did it again. Ah. I'm just gonna sack this now because they can bounce it anyway, so there's no reason not to just make as many tokens as I can. Now. What is in their hand? I don't even care about the Jite really. Okay, game's over. Obviously. I don't know if I've hardly played against Death and Taxes recently because everybody's playing Initiative instead, right? It's like, oh, I want to play the white deck with Thalia. Sure, I will play Initiative. So I don't know if they're on ley lines in the board at the moment. Death. Oh. Death and Taxes. No, standard affair of cards that aren't very good against us. Sideboarding. Biggest mistake I see people make, overcomplicating this matchup. Could even take out Putrid Imp's just not a very good card, especially on the draw. It is a black card to pitch to Grief, but that's about it. I almost didn't bring in the Firestorms just because. Ooh. The problem is this hand loses to turn 2 Rest in Peace. This hand does not lose to turn 2 Rest in Peace. The reason why it doesn't lose to turn 2 Rest in Peace, Cabal Therapy. And that's a card. Yeah, that's the other thing they could have. So we're kind of drawing into our 1 copy of Nature's Claim. Now, people will be looking at this and they'll be like, oh, well, you should sideboard in all your Nature's Claims. No, the best way to beat... They have like 1 Grafdigger's Cage, generally. They have 1. sometimes 2, but mostly 1. They're running an 80 card deck. You don't want to sideboard for their one-offs. You can easily sideboard in Nature's Claim and then get hit by... Oh yeah, I should have played around that. I should have discarded the Ox. Deary, deary me. That was silly. Okay, now we're in a really tough spot because not only do we have to find our Nature's Claim, we also have to find our another land, another mana source. But Firestorm kind of looking pretty good here. I don't think you can pull off against Death and Taxes the same thing that you can sometimes do against Delver with Cage, where you just like keep casting Golgari Thugs that when they die make like 3 zombies and then put Hogak on top of your deck. The reason I don't think that works is they can just exile Hogak. Yeah, this game was very over. Oh, don't want to F. There we go. And the other reason is, yeah, they could just exile Hogak, and also they just have so many more ways to like beat you on the board. Like, you can make as well, you can't make as, but like clearly there's a number of zombies they can't beat, but once they get a Batter Skull down, your zombies aren't going to beat that. So generally you can't just ignore Cage in situations like this, like you can sometimes get away with. Versus Delver, this is very sad at the moment, not drawing a second land, but seemingly opponent's not doing anything either, though if they get a third land here they can eternalize the Timeless Dragon, which will put us on a very small clock. And then I'm curious what's in their hand if they are refusing, if they don't have a third land. Okay, there we go. Okay, this is a problem. What is their hand? Maybe they got a Solitude in it or something. Lion Sash. Sure. If we draw a second land here, that would be nice. Okay, never mind. What makes Lion Sash bigger? Is it just permanence? If it was a permanent, okay. So there's only 1, 2. Oh, there's my land as well. Okay. We really need. Okay, and then they can protect it with Mother of Runes. We really need a second land here. That will not do. That will not do. The Firestorm's actually looking pretty good here if we could cast it. But I think it loses a lot of its strength on the draw. Oh, I think we're dead here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm gonna eat 2 creatures from their graveyard, kill me. Yeah, seems over. Or just not bother for something. Oh, I guess he could eat my Icarid now as well. Or I could just BM, I guess. This is good though. If we draw a land, we can see what's in their hand with the Cabal Therapy before the game ends. Okay, we can't. Sure. So when they have Macabre, Putrid Imp's actually not that bad, but I still kind of don't like Putrid Imp very much at all in the matchup. I think this is probably one of the worst matchups for Putrid Imp. Obviously, if they are heavy on surgicals and fairy macabres, Putrid Imp is a very, very good card. But Nature's Claim can be alright too. I don't think either of them are great cards, so it's kind of whatever. I will keep this on the. This is kind of bad because it can lose to Wasteland, but what I like is that we can potentially draw a black card for Grief. Having 2 breakthroughs kind of sucks, but it's whatever. I like the idea that we can. There's like a lot of good draws here off of this Faithless Looting. Like a second land is really good. Any black card's good. I am going to play around. Now we can straight up lose to Cage. However, I would rather lose to Cage than lose to Fairy Macabre. That is my thinking with this play. There we go, there's the Fairy Macabre. Oh, that's really nice. That is really nice. Oh shit. Oh shit, their hand is insane. Ah, we have a little bit of a problem here, guys. I was like, oh, they didn't surgical my breakthrough. Yeah, I see why they didn't surgical my breakthrough. We have to take the rest in peace there. This is really awkward. I played a land already. My Grave Troll's almost definitely going to get surgicaled. Why have they got 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate? That's so insane. They mull to a 6 with 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate. Or they just top decked a piece of Graveyard Hate last turn. Yeah, I think we have to keep the looting here. It's like rough, but I don't see how we win if we keep the Colosseum. Then maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it is actually better to keep the Colosseum. It's like very close. It's very close on which is better to keep. The good thing about Cephalid Colosseum actually, which is maybe I don't know, I was just thinking that instantly going to surgical my Grave Troll, right? Like I wasn't even thinking about anything else. But maybe they don't want to. I don't know. Even if they exile my Grave Troll, we've only got 7 dredges left in deck because we exiled a Stinkweed Imp to Grief. I mean, we'd have lost the game if we didn't because they'd have just slammed Rest in Peace here, but. Okay, so our path to victory here is we managed to get another dredger somehow, and then we cast Ox and then Hogak a bunch of times. That is how we win. There's the Ox. Now we need the dredger. Are you holding up port instead of casting Thalia? No way. They definitely cast Thalia. Oh. Wow, that is pure greed. That is so greedy. Oh. We have to... get rid of Lion Sash, because we can't win through Lion Sash. So we have to eat one of our bridges, which sucks. Oh, okay, we drew a bridge. And we have to sack this now. Lion Sash. So there are a few things to think about here. Keeping cards in hand for Lion's Eye Diamond, and then also playing around Wasteland, like. But also we could draw the third breakthrough in our deck. Drawing the third breakthrough makes it worth playing out the lands, and then drawing a Lion's Eye Diamond makes it worth holding the lands. I don't want to play out... Obviously I want to play out Cephalic Colosseum as like my land, but I don't want them to like top deck Wasteland and get rid of it. Also playing out Sidiabras just lets them ping me for 1 with the port, so I'm actually just not going to play a land here. The good thing is they can't really swing with their Containment Priest anymore. They can swing with Stoneforge Mystic, because I'm not going to lose my 2 remaining bridges, but that's fine. Are you going to flicker the Stoneforge? Yes, is the answer. Oh! He forgot about his own Containment Priest! Oh my god, I completely missed that, and so did my opponent. Oh, there's Hogak. I mean, we could just flip and cast a Hogak from hand off of the 2 zombies in a bit, if we get more cards in graveyard. Again, I don't really see a reason to play a land. Obviously the Flicker Wisp is going to be clocking us now. What are we drawing? Grief! That's pretty good. So what we could do is we could Grief pitch the other bridge, make 4 zombies, and then cast a Hogak. We lose so hard to a top deck. Swords to Plowshares though. That's so all in, but I think that's the play. We exile 1, 2, one of the bridges, the Ox, because we're never reaching Ox if we do that. And then we just pray they don't draw Swords to Plowshares. I think that's the play. We could wait, but I feel like this gets worse the longer we wait. Then maybe they put Yorion in hand next turn. Because if they put Yorion in hand next turn and then they draw a creature the turn after, they can Yorion flicker the Flicker Wisp? No, they can't. There's a bug with Containment Priest. There's a bug with Containment Priest. God, this is so close on what is best to do. No, I think I'm gonna go for it. Maybe I lose because of this, but I think this is right. I think this is right. This is like so all in. This is like basically saying I'm never going to dredge for the rest of the game. But I think that's okay. Pass turn. Oh my god! If I'd have waited a turn! If I'd have waited a turn. Yeah, you said it, opponent. Jeez Louise. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Oh, it would have been so good if I drew a card. Oh my god. Man, if we waited one turn, it would have been so good. It would have been so good if we waited a turn, because we could have played that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And we could have Cephalid Colosseum'd as well. Oh my god! I'm angry. I'm angry. It would have been so good. We'd have had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards in graveyard, and we could have Cephalid Colosseum'd as well, and then we wouldn't have needed to eat. We wouldn't have needed to eat so much of our stuff. Wow, that's such a blowout. That's like literally. The worst part is here, I can't even really swing. Actually, I've gained a bunch of life, but the problem is if I swing, he takes 6, goes to 12, and he just keeps blocking me forever with Thalia. I just have to. Oh, wait. I should play the Lion's Eye Diamond here. Definitely should play the Lion's Eye Diamond. Damn, that's Magic the Gathering right there. That is Magic the Gathering. I mean, he could have drawn swords at any time, right? Like, just it's so. I think on balance that was the right play. Like, if he doesn't draw swords, if he draws like literally, obviously Solitude's bad as well because he can put Yorion in hand. And the fact that I drew LED as well is just like a slap in the face. It's so painful. So painful. Doesn't change the clock if I play the Lion's Eye Diamond, so I'm going to play the Lion's Eye Diamond. There's like nothing we can do here really. I think we just like take 3 Flickerwisp pits and die. Like, we don't even have Firestorm to draw into. If we did have Firestorm to draw into, that'd be good. Let's see if we draw Putrid Imp. That would be another funny occurrence, wouldn't it? If we top deck the Putrid Imp. That could have been Firestorm. But like Putrid Imp would have been really good against Macabre and Surgical Extraction there. Like if I had Putrid Imp instead, that would have been so good. Like it would have allowed me to grief as well. Yeah, port me. Nothing. If they play Yorion, we're like actually dead. Then maybe they're not aware of the bug and they exile their whole board, which would be a tad bit amusing. Though there'd be no reason for them to flicker the Flicker Wisp. Oh, I guess if they wanted to remove one of my zombies. Damn, I mean, the greatest reanimator player of all time, Eric Landon, often says, with reanimator, you can beat 2 pieces of Graveyard Hate, but you can't beat 3 pieces of Graveyard Hate. It's almost impossible. And I think this game kind of showed that. What did our opponent have? Our opponent had Macabre, rest in peace, Surgical Extraction, and Containment Priest, and then later tutored up for a Lion Sash. That was after the Containment Priest already came down. But they had 4 pieces of Graveyard Hate. There was basically nothing we could do, even with some pretty pretty sharp play. And yeah, that's the game over. Oh well, that's Magic. Sometimes those games happen. I think they were still interesting, even though we lost. Quite close. I think hilariously, I mean, I don't know what was in their hand. Maybe they drew a Solitude or something. But if they hadn't drawn that sword and they had just drawn lands or something, I think we would have won that game with Hogak. But yeah, it is what it is. Oh well. Let's hope to win the next one. Right, round 3. I'm against Valentina. This hand is unkeepable. Oh, I'll hide this. Yeah, this hand is unkeepable. It's only got 1 enabler. We can use the Lotus Petal with the Cephalic Colosseum, but it's bad against Wasteland. It's bad against Force of Will. It's not great against Daze. Definitely a mull. Now this is better, but we don't have a Dredger. If we had a Dredger, I'd probably keep this, honestly. A Dredger instead of a Narcomoeba. But we do not. Now we're cooking. This is why you mull, people. This is why you mull. You get hands like this. That, like, you just gotta mull sometimes. That's the deck. If you don't want a mulligan, play a different deck. Oh, is this initiative? Probably initiative, based on that start. I think we play out lands here. If they've got Archon of Emeria, we've got a problem. I'm okay with that. That doesn't bother me 1 iota. Fine draw. So what does this mean? It means their hand is doesn't have an initiative card, basically. So they might have Solitude is probably the scariest thing they could have. Could have Touch the Spirit Realm. Could have a number of things. The ability to play Breakthrough X is one here, obviously coming in quite clutch. I'm keeping... If they Thalia, we can't break through. But they've also got that card. What is that card? The one that is like a pithing needle. I think because of that card that's like a pithing needle, I actually want to keep the breakthrough. Though it's bad into... Like, I'm not 100% on this. I think it's correct to keep the breakthrough because of that pithing needle creature. I don't have enough reps against the initiative to know for sure, but that's my gut feeling, is it's better to keep the breakthrough. Normally I'd keep the Cephalid Colosseum here, but that pithing needle creature is a problem. Now I'm thinking they almost definitely have Solitude here, so I want to try and bait that out. I'm assuming we get Solituded here, but we might not. Okay, what is their hand then? This is somewhat confusing to me. God only knows what their hand is. Like, if they had a seasoned Dungeoneer, surely they'd have played it. Maybe they don't want to use their pedal just to play a Thalia, but that seems like... Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand what their hand was there. Okay, so initiative. In the blind, I side for ley lines. Like, if they show me Macabre in game 2, then I adjust. Grief's out. One drops out. And my sideboard here is not perfect. I don't really know what I'm doing. I'm like kind of freewheeling it. I like Dread Return. And you might be asking, why do you like Dread Return? I like Dread Return and Ashen Rider because Seasoned Dungeoneer can just straight up kill you in like 3 turns. However, if you side in Ashen Rider, it really dilutes the deck. So, I don't know. Cutting a therapy for a Firestorm seems a little bit suspect. I kind of don't like cutting therapies, but I also don't think therapy is like a super valuable card in the matchup, because as you saw in that game, it just got countered a bunch of times. I'm inclined to keep this. They do nothing turn 1. Like if they don't have like this hand can beat a ley line if we draw a land, and if they don't, it can still do stuff like we can discard to hand size, bait out Macabre. Like, maybe this is close to a mole, but the fact that this can, like, actually do stuff, like, it's got basically every piece we need apart from a land and can function without a land. Okay. What are we looking at here? Turn 1 ballista. It's a bit strange. Oh, I'm definitely discarding my Golgari Thug here. White Plume. Elite Spellbinder. Oh, that's bad. Gonna take my LED. Damn. That's really bad. I did think maybe I should just jam turn 1, but I didn't want to like jam into a Macabre. They mulled so low, right? Like, seemed a bit suspect. We really need a land. Like, really badly. If my opponent swings, I'm going to block. Oh, that's really bad as well. Hmm. Lion's Eye Diamond would be the best draw in our deck. Quite easily. Wow, you're really making that attack? Oh, okay, that's fine. Why bother attacking if you're going to do that? Whatever. Opponent doesn't seem to be doing much. If they hit a seasoned Dungeoneer, we probably lose. Like, straight up. I don't think we can beat that at this point. Like, I might have been inclined to... Yeah, this is a problem. This kills so fast is what you need to understand. Like, this, the next turn, like, this lets them dig, this buffs the creature. So now it's 4, and then it's protection from creatures. This is the reason why it can be nice to have Ashen Rider, but this isn't doing anything anyway. Next turn they get to forge, so they'll go up to 9, and then the turn after they trap us and kill us. Yeah, I didn't get to see if they have ley lines or not. Really annoying. Like, there's no way of knowing. They didn't show me any grave hate. I'm gonna assume they I'm gonna bring the therapy back in because we're on the play, so it's not so weak to Chalice. I'm gonna assume they do have ley lines and not remove them. This does add to a ley line, but it doesn't do anything else. Does nothing. I mean, can play magic. Not especially well. Let's get a 4. Ay, ay, ay. Probably shouldn't keep this. Ah, double ley line. Wicked. I love it when they have ley line when Yeah, I don't think we can beat this. They didn't ley line us last game. Maybe I should have just jammed with the Lion's Eye Diamond, but seemed wrong. I could have kept 2 ley line answers here, but I feel like that's not a winning play. Yeah, this is why the initiative's awkward, for sure. Like things like this, but I mean, this is like leyline deck. You'd have this happen against Moon Stompy as well. The main difference with this deck is just it has loads of different other like hate bears. Like Moon Stompy would just like Blood Moon you and Trinisphere you, which were like sucky things to happen, but were like I think a bit easier to play around. Like Blood Moon doesn't really do that much to us because we could still cast Faithless Looting. And Trinisphere did kind of suck, but we could discard to hand size. We need to get so lucky. We need to get like stud land into chain, or like land into Wispmare, like the next 2 draws. And even then, we might just be dead before that happens. Yeah, because of like this. They're going to trap us. They're going to hit us for 5, potentially 6. Then the turn after, they'll, if they... Yeah, so that's 6 now, and then next time that's literally us dead. Insanely quick. Oh well, that's initiative. That's the deck. I think we got a little bit unlucky there. Maybe I was wrong to not just I think it was just better to discard the hand size there. Like, yeah, the Spellbinder like completely punished our hand. But I think it was definitely definitely correct, I think, because it opened up Ox the turn after if we did that, which was just so much better. And increases the odds that we don't like brick on dredges, because that's the main problem when you've got a thug and you're doing that. If you brick on dredges, it's so painful. Whereas by like discarding to hand size dredging, and then you can discard again, and then you like get to dig 8 cards before you need another dredger. Right, round 4. Sneep. This is the trick with, obviously, it's kind of obvious, but you kind of just throw your normal hand stipulations out the window when you get a hand that's like Lion's Eye Diamond Breakthrough. They instantly scoop. Okay. The fast scoop generally, online at least, is a sign that they're playing ley lines. Is generally my belief. So I board accordingly. Though when I'm boarding for ley lines, blind, I tend not to bring in all the answers, so I'm going to bring in 4. I'm going to bring in 4 different cards to answer leyline. Flame's obviously the best one in the blind. Wispmare's kind of cool. This can bounce. Maybe Stern Dismissal's actually worse than a second Wispmare. Wispmare's got like the secret second mode of just like pay 1 mana, get creatures equal to and bridges in the graveyard, which is actually kind of cool. I sideboard out the Lotus Petal, sideboard out the Careful Study. I could sideboard out the Ox, but Ox is pretty versatile. It's not a bad card to have in the blind, I don't think. Um, Opponent is some blue deck without leyline. We kept a hand that was actually very bad against leyline there, but it was just a good hand in the blind. Like, it's more important that you just have the answers in the deck rather than like you're actively doing this or that. I'm just going to name Surgical here, I think. Or Force of Negation. Probably Force of Negation. Oh, I should have named Surgical. This is fine though. I can bait out the Surgical here without too much trouble. I discard these two. I discard these two. Play this. Yeah, I should have named Surgical. Oh, why did I play that? They've got Prismatic Ending in hand. God, I'm not playing my best here. This is not good. Not good magic. Bad magic. Yeah, I'm just going to get my Lion's Eye Diamond. That's really bad, actually. Yeah, I don't know why I did that. Complete brain malfunction there. Big fan of the Prismatic Ending before casting the Ponder. Sure. I'm actually just going to take their Narset. It draws them like 2 cards and it's not something I could easily deal with. Maybe I should have played out the Narcomoeba there. That was probably a mistake as well. My thoughts were I want to have stuff to discard, but it was probably better just to have the Narcomoeba. But they can Pyroblast it, so maybe in that respect it's best not to. I play this in case I draw a land next turn because I want to cast Breakthrough. This is pretty good. I got Icrid coming back next turn. I'm going to get a zombie. No, I can take their Pyroblast. Seems good. Narset's annoying. I can kill it though, so it's not super annoying. They didn't. Wow. Okay. Seems strange to me. Oh, I should have played the other Icrid as well. That would have been sick, actually. I'm doing this anyway, so I'm going to cast this now. What? You didn't cast that Brainstorm? Oh, you're crazy, dude. Yeah, I'm playing this really badly, and I mean, we're still kind of walking all over them at the moment. I mean, this is when they top deck Rest in Peace, and then we lose. Another Pyroblast. Very annoying. Because I can't cast my Breakthrough. I can cast that, though. Discard these two. Discard these two. Swing. We have not seen any Stinkly Imps or any Grave Trolls. We're like 24 cards deep, which is kind of sucky, but what can you do? There we go. Speak of the devil. Because I drew the Lion's Eye Diamond, I'm not going to crack this. I'm not going to cast this X's2. Because we could potentially cast Ox twice off this. Round 5 against Bobby Bubbles. Sounds very good. Would prefer it if it had a dredger, but this hand does stuff. It does a lot of stuff. I am actually going to lead on Lion's Eye Diamond here. Just because I kind of actually want the Careful Study to resolve, because I want it to dig me into a dredger. I'm going to discard these two, play this past turn. This could be bad if they've got some turn 1 deck, but that's fine. I'm keeping the Grief in case we draw a black card that isn't a dredger. Oh, Verdant Catacombs is scary. I don't like playing against any deck that's running Verdant Catacombs. Elves. Elves, 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 elves. Oh, that's nice. Sometimes you just need Grief in your deck so you can pitch it to Grief, you know what I'm saying? We take Once Upon a Time here, I think. Obviously Green Sun Zenith's a problem, but Once Upon a Time is also a problem. Keep the Breakthrough, I guess. What's this one do? It's like on a creature glimpse, kind of. Seems a little bit medium. So that was what they drew for turn. There's a Cradle. So they can tap Cradle for 2, play their Symbiote. Return Visionary, untap Dryad Arbor, recast Visionary. We're going all in. Interesting. I'm actually just going to break through X as 0 here, because I'm like fairly certain I'm going to hit a dredger, and I do not hit a dredger. That is really, really rough. I kind of have to go for it here because they can just sort of they can green suns for endurance, and then I just lose. That's so unlikely. Oh my god. Wow. First dredger was 22 cards deep. That's the deck, people. That is the deck. We got to take Green Suns out of there, or we just lose because they definitely have an endurance in their main deck. I don't think we're winning this game. That was very unlucky for us. Yeah, just the odds of that are so low. The odds of that are really low, and this is a really awkward matchup. Surprised they didn't pay the green. Oh, because it's not an elf. Opponent's doing stuff, and it's taking them some time. Why not just get endurance? Do they not have endurance? Did I go through all that and they don't have endurance in their deck? I don't believe it. I'm looking up MTG Goldfish. Wow. Looking up Elves lists. I don't think there's a single Elves list that doesn't have. Oh no, there are. But almost every list has like one. Oh, maybe not. Maybe I did all of that for no reason. Maybe I should have just assumed that they didn't have it. I went all in for no real gain. That being said, I dug so hard I wouldn't have even found the dredger. Anyway, I think I'm dead on board here. Oh, I'm definitely dead on board now. So Elves has ley lines most of the time, but not all the time. Obviously, this matchup, Firestorm's great. Lotus Petal's medium. I don't really want Grief. I'm predicting they have ley line, Chain, and Stern Dismissal. Stern Dismissal's good because it bounces, but overall, the blue answers aren't very good because it's very easy for them to recast ley line. I'm going to side in 4 ley line answers. Ox is a card in the matchup I'm like always on the fence about whether it's worth having or not. Just because it gives you a little bit extra if you've got like a hand that lines up well with it. I'm gonna keep the 2 Putrid Imps over a Careful Study. The reason I'm keeping the 2 Putrid Imps over the Careful Study, actually, I'm gonna cut a Thug. Oh, never mind. I was gonna cut a Thug and keep the Careful Study in. I mean, this is sub all in. It loses to ley line. It loses to endurance. Now this is much better. It's just a matter of, do I keep the second land or do I keep the Careful Study? I think I'm inclined to keep the second land. Just because it speeds me up, and also if I hit a third land, it's kind of like I had the extra Careful Study, if you know what I mean. Okay. No ley line, so I assume they have endurance. Basically how this goes. I can discard the Wisp now, I don't need it now. Drawing Firestorm's really nice. What's this pause for? Do they have Bajuka Bog? Hitting 2 bridges really sucks when I got Firestorm in hand. Let's give a name endurance. I'm messing around here. Okay, their hand's all gas. I want to hit a Narcomoeba here. Didn't hit one, that really sucks. Because they're going to go pretty nuts next turn, I think. With 2 Nettle Sentinels, a Glimpse, and a Heritage Druid. I don't see how they aren't. It's possible I should have kept the Firestorm, but I didn't really want to exile 2 of my bridges to do it. I feel like if I hit a Narcomoeba there, because I didn't bottom a Narcomoeba, I kept 6, bottomed the land, right? Yeah, I mean, not seeing any Narcomoebas in the top 24 kind of sucks. But I mean, I guess that's to be expected after the game 1. At least we found a dredger. So they can glimpse. So they can glimpse Heritage Nettle Sentinel, but then they're kind of stuck actually. Which is kind of good for us. They shouldn't have played that land out. I feel like that because if they draw Cradle now, they've already played their land drop. So I think that was incorrect by them. Sure. That's Sentinel Misty. Get rid of that heritage druid. Visionary. Why would symbiote? Um, So I can kill 2 of their creatures, really set them back. But then I have like no board. I think I like doing this and this, and then I think I actually like taking the visionary. I'm gonna put Wispmare on top or Putrid Imp. What is it? It's untapped target creature, right? Yeah, I don't need to worry about Leyline next turn if they top deck it. So I'm just going to put. I should have put. Sorry, I was going to put Putrid Imp on top to play around endurance. That would have been a better play. I'm going to take Elvish Visionary because that digs them. I just don't want them top decking anything bad. It's my only concern right now. Now next time we're starting to swing. Right. Attack with everything. I think I hold the Firestorm. Could be wrong. Okay, so we didn't see any hate from them. So I'm just gonna leave it as is because I don't want to get blown out by a Leyline in game 3. We didn't need to use the Firestorm there, but it was like insurance. I'm gonna keep this. If they've got Leyline, they've got Leyline. We didn't see it last game. Yeah, there we go. That's why you don't read too much into them not having Leyline in game 2. You got to stand by your beliefs on what they are likely to be playing. I'm going to play Lion's Eye Diamond out just to play around Thoughtseize. So we're trying to draw 4 off. Not an impossible task. Keep playing lands, I guess. If I reach enough If I reach enough lands in play, I'll cast the Breakthrough. But otherwise, I don't see any reason to play it. I think I'm actually just going to hardcast a Stinkring Imper. I know that looks a bit silly, but I think that's like actually correct. I could break through there. Like, that's possibly the correct play. It's possibly correct. But currently the opponent's not up to much. So either they've got like Craterhoof in hand or I'm going to die next turn, or they actually just have nothing. I mean, yeah. They kept Leyline and then they didn't play anything. So, I mean, it's likely they have something, but I don't know. I'm like, do I break through X's 2 or X's 3? And do I play out the Mana Confluence? I think I do play out the Mana Confluence. Maybe that's wrong. Maybe I'll regret that. My only concern is that I'm only going to have 1 Rainbow Mana left after I cast this. Okay, that's what I'm looking for. I mean, if I'd have done X's 2, I could have gone off. But this way, oh wait, no, I couldn't have gone off. This is really good though. Yeah, this is what I was kind of, this is the reason why I played the Mana Confluence out instead of the looting. If we get a turn, I think we're in a really good spot. I'm not sure we'll get a turn, but that's my hope. What did we exile? A Bridge, a Therapy, and an Icarid. That's not the worst. Is this just natural order here? No. Like, exiling 3 different things is like better than exiling like 3 of the same thing, if you know what I mean. What is the opponent holding up for? Green Sun Zenith X is 2. I assume they're just getting Elvish Visionary, which is fine. Could they not have just killed me? What is going on? Not much, it seems. Okay. Well, that's a really good draw, actually. So, start by evoking Whisper. Now it's a case of actually, I don't care about the number of lands I have in play, and then I crack this for blue, I think. Because that leaves me open to being able to do both. So my two options here are I tap that for red, and then I can looting again, and then Cephalic Colosseum, or I just Cephalic Colosseum twice. Because I'll have a Cephalic Colosseum next turn. I think we just. I mean, I'm doing one of these anyway, right? So I can just do this now. That was really good. I have no regrets so far. If you've got endurance in hand, I'm gonna be mad. Gonna be mad. One, two, three. Those dredges were not the best. I'm gonna name Crater Hoof, I think. Nice. Sniped it. I just want as much power on the board as possible here. Getting in for one's like semi-relevant. There's an argument to be made to like save a Cabal Therapy for next turn, but I don't think that's worth it. Like the good thing, like if I did that, what I could do is I could dredge Thug next turn, cast Thug, and that because now I've got no therapies left in deck, right? Like I've used them all. I could. The awkward thing here is if I dredge Thug, then they could potentially try and like deck me out. I don't think that's likely to happen, but that's like a possibility. I think we were correct to try and just mill as much as possible there. I don't think we made the wrong choice. We're relying on blanking like a lot of draws here. We need to get very lucky. I think we're probably dead, but yeah, this is Green Suns for Hoof, right? Oh, no, just top deck the second Crater Hoof. That does it too, I guess. Yeah, this is way, way, way over lethal. Yeah. Okay, that's kind of frustrating. What is there to say? We got leylined in the games where we didn't have leyline answers, and then we got not leylined in the games where we did. I mean, that happens, right? I think there were some interesting games there for sure. I think I demonstrated why we need to be playing the 6 answers to leyline. That was a leyline deck. That was some random blue pile that didn't have leyline. That had leyline. What was Rickert playing? I forgot what Rickert was playing. What were they playing? I think we got Leyline then, didn't we? I can't remember. I've recorded those two matches earlier before recording the last three. But yeah, I think the deck performed well. Obviously, sometimes you get leylined. Not all the time that your hands line up nicely with the leyline answers. Oh wait, no, we didn't get leyline. No. This was the Death and Taxes player with like 4 pieces of graveyard hate. I remember now. Yes. So reanimator, Death and Taxes, initiative, Jeskai, Elves. So we're playing against 2 leyline decks, which are like top tier decks as well. I think 6 leyline answers is just where we need to be right now, sadly. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. This has been the first video for a while. Obviously going 2-3, not the best, but those were some close games. I think if we got a little bit more lucky, we could have won. Definitely Death and Taxes. I think we got unlucky there. Initiative, I think we got a little bit unlucky. And then, yeah, in that game 1 against Elves there, we definitely got a bit unlucky. But, I mean, that's the deck. If you don't want to play the numbers game, play a different deck. Sometimes it's just stacked the wrong way. Remember, thank you all for watching. Appreciate all of my followers and all of my subscribers. I know I'm not the most regular uploading person, but I hope to do content that is interesting and educational. If you like the video, do all the YouTube algorithm stuff. It's appreciated. I don't really push for that too much because I just do this as a hobby, but it's always really appreciated. I like seeing the number go up. I'm a big fan of numbers going up. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and goodbye.